Good morning. Well, it is race morning for the women, and today it is the day before the men's race. And I have on the schedule absolutely nothing for training. Today is a complete rest day. Just gonna hang out at the house this morning and rest, watch the beginning of the women's race, and then later this afternoon, go downtown, possibly see them go through T2, then out on the run and finish the race. Then we need to go down to bike check-in, drop off our bike, drop off our T1 bag, and then after that this evening, head over and drop off our T2 run bag. So today, just a nice, relaxing day. Good morning, boys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling, man? It's the day before the race.
Selling veggies, dude. Buying and selling here.
Yeah, buying and selling. What are you buying and selling?
Doing some work.
Oh, I thought you were betting on the women's race.
I'm about to.
Who's your money on?
Probably Lucy.
Lucy.
Put my money on Lucy.
All right.
And I was the first one up today.
Yeah.
Where were you guys?
First one up. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good this morning.
Neck feeling better?
Yeah. Think I'm gonna hit the pool again.
Nice.
And go watch the women race.
You're gonna hit the pool too?
We're hitting the pool at 8 a.m.
If I this on camera, if I swim, my coach is gonna know that I swam. So I have to secret train if I go to the pool with you guys. So I'm not gonna swim, I promise. If I do, I'm not gonna film it. So the boys are all off at the pool and I decided not to swim. I am sticking to the plan. I am resting today. I am watching the women, Taylor taking the lead in the race and making some breakfast. Got the pancakes going. Ready to roll? Oh, we gotta close the garage door. All right, well, it is go time. We are headed downtown to watch the women come in from transition.
And don't forget the secret weapon this night. A pint of ice cream.
Oh, one in this pint of ice cream.
It's in the freezer, ready to go for me at 9 p.m. right before bed.
Whew, I don't know about that. But obviously,
I know
it
about
works
that.
for you. I think I should try it. Try something new always on race day, right?
What's today? Well, yeah.
Came back after watching the women finish. It was awesome to see Taylor win. I was rooting for Taylor. Then came home, took a nap, relaxed, had a massive burrito, which was amazing, and just gonna go drop gear off, have dinner, and relax the rest of the night. There's a ton of bags already. We were headed to drop the bike off first and ended up running into the road closures and ended up right at bag drop by accident. So we're dropping off the run bag first. $4180. Yep. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. We are now in transition, about a 20-minute wait, and got our timing chips. Yeah. Well, I am back home and it has been more than 24 hours since I crossed the finish line. I am doing a little cleanup, putting things away. Rolled out of Utah this morning at 6 a.m. and was back here in California by 10:30 in the morning. But I'm gonna take a break from this and let's go talk a little bit about my race experience. Well, let's start at the beginning of the day. This race specifically is different than any other Ironman that I've done in that you actually are starting in your age group wave. Instead of lining up by swim time, you actually had a dedicated time in which you were going to start the race, and that was everyone within your age group. So for me, the 45 to 49 age group was actually the last wave of the day, which originally I was pretty disappointed in the fact that I was going to be starting at 9:17, the last wave of the day. But as the race got closer and it got colder and colder, I actually was happy to be going near the end of the race when the sun was up and it was starting to warm up so that it wouldn't be as cold. I didn't need to be up at 3:30 in the morning eating breakfast on the bus and in transition when it opened. So instead, I got to wake up at 5 a.m., had my breakfast immediately. I tend to get very nervous stomach prior to a race. I can't eat and it's really hard to get food down, but that doesn't set in usually until about 30 minutes after I wake up. So if I wake up and I get downstairs and I make coffee and I have my oatmeal. This race, I actually had oatmeal with some protein mixed in, some protein. Got that down, got a banana down, got coffee down, and got all of that down prior to the nerves kicking in. The goal was to get on the last bus that headed down to transition, which was around 6 a.m. After 6 a.m., because we had to bus about 35 minutes down to the reservoir, the public could also take those buses, but they weren't allowed to get on until 6 a.m. So we jumped on one of the very last athlete buses to get down. Got down to transition about 6:35. I actually put all of my fluids on the bike the night before. Usually I don't do that. Usually I bring my bottles with all of my fluid, nutrition, and my bike computer with me. Because it was gonna be really cool out there, I just decided instead of having to deal with all the bottles in the morning, I went down the night before when we did bike check and I put all my fluid in my aero bottle, put my bike bottles on, and then the only thing I had to do when I walked into transition was check my tires to make sure the pressure was good and put my bike computer on. That was all I had to do. So I was basically done with that by 6:30, 6:45, and still had almost 2 hours or more than 2 hours until the race started.
Good luck.
Hey! Woohoo! We're going. See you in 35 minutes, hopefully. I felt pretty calm going into the swim. BJ, my coach, and I started the swim together and hit the water, and it was cool, but not cold. Decided to take an outside line away from the buoys and really tried to stay in clear water. Made the turn, got a little bit of sun in the eyes because now the sun is up. And when I made the right turn to head back in, I tried to turn it up a little bit. I had gotten halfway through the swim, was feeling good, increased my stroke, and really just try and get back a little faster than I had made my way out. I passed a lot of guys. At one point, I thought I actually saw BJ swimming next to me, and I tried to drop the hammer on him and beat him out of the water, but that wasn't BJ actually. When I got out of the water, I ran up the ramp, got into transition, and he was there already. Came out of the water at 31:50, and I was really happy about that. BJ actually came out about a minute ahead of me, and I got out of transition right before BJ. Him and I pretty much spent the whole day racing together. Going uphill, he would beat me on the uphills, and then me with my size, a lot of guys would beat me on the uphills. I would fly down past them on the downhills. I knew going into the bike that I'm not, and I've always felt I'm not a good climber, and that a lot of that comes from I feel like I'm bigger than a lot of the guys out there, right? So guys 140, 150, 160, I've got 30, 40, 50 pounds on them, and I am pushing a ton of wattage to try and keep up with them going uphill. And I had decided already going into the race, I wasn't going to burn myself out on the ride. I didn't want to just destroy myself trying to keep up with people or trying to hit a certain speed and then just be miserable on the run. What I decided to do was take it super easy on the hills and then hammer the downhills. BJ and I stayed with each other, kind of jockeying all the way into about mile 40, 45 when we were in Snow Canyon. And at that point, I knew that I was not going to be able to keep up with him going up that steep climb without really, really burning my legs up. I had made the decision when I get past that, if there was zero wind on the downhill, I was just going to bomb it and go all out as fast as I could, tucked down on the bike, dropped my entire body as low as possible, and was doing somewhere between 40 and 45 miles per hour all the way down that, just trying to make up as much time as I could. I came in there, and there is BJ getting his shoes on and getting ready, came in and had a super fast transition. Got my shoes off, got my helmet off, got my jacket off, and got my shoes on and just held everything in my hands, my hat, my glasses, my bib, my gels, and started running. And BJ and I came out of transition together and ran up the first little hill out of town. And it's pretty much all uphill from when you leave transition until you get to about 3.5 miles. I was feeling really, really good. And it was just fun to be running together and working together. About 3.5 miles in, you get to a section in the golf course, which is really punchy. It's super steep. And I haven't talked a lot about an issue I'm having with my lower abdominals or my psoas below my belly button. I've been having a lot of pain while running, and I've been rolling it, but it's my own fault. I have been neglecting it and hoping it would get better. Whatever it is, it has continued to get worse and worse and worse, to the point where the last couple of weeks, I couldn't hit any of my paces on my intervals. I knew going in that was going to be an issue. And running uphill, we were probably running close to 8-minute miles, so that felt really good. But when we got to that hill and BJ punched it and started to attack this little steep section of the golf course, I decided that I need to back off a little bit. I don't want to push the pace yet. We're only 3.5 miles in. I'm going to see how I feel on the downhill. And the first downhill, when you get to the top of the golf course, it's pretty much all the way downhill until you are like a mile away from the finish. And that is part of the loop. So I ran downhill the first time fairly fast. I did get below 7-minute mile pace, but it hurt a lot. When I'm running that hard, your abs are contracting and there's just so much pain. I was able to push through the pain on the first loop, came out of the first loop and felt like I ran similar speed uphill back to the top of the golf course for the second loop. But when I made that turn and tried to turn it on again to head back down, I realized that I just couldn't withstand the pain anymore of running fast downhill. So ultimately, I just dialed it back, was running between 8 and 8:30s. And with every pounding step downhill, you're contracting your abs, and it was really painful.
How you doing, Chris? Feeling good, man? Woo.
It's a tough course. Going though.
Get it, looking good. Looking good.
How far up is BJ?
Minute and a half maybe?
Yeah, he dropped me on the hills.
Yeah. Just keep finishing strong, man. Enjoy the journey.
Thank you.
You got it.
My goal going into this race, knowing how hilly it was, felt if I hit 5:30, that would be an amazing day for me on a course like this. Coming down at the top, I knew I only had about 3 miles left. So I knew that it was about 5 hours. So I knew that I was going to make under 5:30 unless something really bad happened. So I decided, I'm just going to run it comfortably down, hold on, make sure I didn't cramp, try and get in as much fluid and as much gel as I could. I did something different this time. I actually bought a gel flask and I put all of my gels in the flask, because a lot of times I feel pressure to get a gel down as I'm coming to an aid station, because I want to get water, I want to drink water afterwards. So I feel this pressure to get a gel in, whether I want to take it or not, and I've got to get the whole gel in. This time I decided, I'm going to put all my gels in a flask, and I'm just going to sip on it the entire run. And that worked so much better than feeling the pressure of trying to eat an entire gel. Coming down the finish line was amazing. It is different in the sense than a normal half Ironman. Just the finish line is bigger and it's elevated, so you go up on a little ramp. The level of energy is second to none that I have ever experienced. I know Hawaii and Kona is next level, but I have not experienced that. So for me, this was really the biggest and best finish line that I have ever experienced, and it was amazing.
Cedric Leno. Great job, Cedric. Chris Elmore. Congratulations, Chris.
Came across the line in 5:22:38.
Hey! Done. Woo.
How was it?
This is a really tough course. Probably one of the toughest courses, one of the toughest halves I've probably ever done. Better than I thought I'd do. The hills were not as bad as they were in my mind. Yeah, I was happy with it. Went sub 5:30. That was the goal.
First World Championship.
First World Championship. Exactly. We'll come around and meet you.
Yeah, you were. He's crushing that run. What's up, Terry? Fun. I couldn't keep up with him. Dude, congrats, man. How'd you do? Good. Yeah. And for the final test, stairs. 420.
Open that heart. Stay strong, baby.
Thank you so much.
That is it. Now I am home and I feel pretty good. My number one goal tomorrow when my doctor opens up, I am making an appointment so I can get in there. I've got to get whatever is happening in my lower abdominal area, get that under control, because I have less than 5 weeks of training before Ironman 70.3 La Quinta. That has become really my A race for the second half of the year. Kind of just trained through Santa Cruz, pretty much trained through this, did not taper that much. Now, over the next week, there will be some recovery. I will take it easy. There will be a lot of swimming, a lot of spinning. Not sure that I'll do much running over the next week, but then 4 weeks to La Quinta, and I am going into that race. I have never broken 5 hours on that course. I want to break 5 hours on that course. I want a PR. And I want to see how close can I get to that Oregon PR that I set of 440 with a downriver swim, and then trying to repeat that Oregon run and running in those low sevens and see, can I get a PR? But I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched this series and all of the comments on Instagram and on here and the messages. Meeting some of you at the race is always so much fun, running into people, being on the course running and people yelling CJ or Endureus or Chris. It is always super motivating and great to get to meet people while I was there. At the finish line, we were all hanging out, sitting in this little area, and I actually met a guy named Chris Weed. I'll pop his picture up. It was so cool to get to talk to him. He's in my age group and he has boys and they play soccer, and he was talking to me about the similarities of our lives and how he watches the videos and finds inspiration and motivation in there. And that is so inspiring and so motivating to me. It fires me up to want to keep doing these videos.
My arms are too long.
Sure. Still kind of like
It's like event number 2, getting you packed up.
Well, we are back from the race. We all successfully completed the World Championships. Juan had a killer time, smoked the course.
Yeah.
Smoked all of us.
BJ, I tried to hang on to till almost halfway through the first lap. I'll say 3 miles. 3 miles, and then he dropped me on the hills. But it was a beautiful course, and now we are about to, Jess is about to throw down a podcast. Right now.
We're going to smack it down.
Smack it
We
down.
smack
We smack it. We don't throw things down.
We don't
smack
throw
things
it,
down.
we smack it.
Okay.
Smack.
I've been corrected. I stand corrected. I stand smacked. Showtime.
To race today. Definitely the right mind, but definitely not the right body to race today.
Was it tough to see everybody out there racing, or is it just too far right now of a reach?
It really wasn't as tough as I expected. This whole trip I really thought was going to be emotional and I was going to have a hard time.